Well, I think that, number one, we get the ball off fast, and that saves you more times than you care to admit. But as a whole line, I feel like we've really embraced the system that that Coach Farmer has brought into the room. And last season, we weren't able to use some of the elements of that system that we do now because of just lack of familiarity with the offense. So as we got more familiar with it and as we came together as a group, we really embraced that ability to identify defenses and blitzes. And throughout the week, we just hammer film study, and we're almost positive we know most, if not all, blitzes that have come. They're going to come to us. Also, I can't credit the guys around me enough. I mean, Dawson, I expect to be all Big 12. He's a great center. Same thing with Jack. I expect him to have high accolades, and I'm really proud of the way our two tackles have stepped in and defied expectation, regardless of what some might have thought about some fresh young guys coming in. And I just really respect all of them.
You guys had some success running the ball the first 3 games, had a 100-yard rusher each time. What maybe was it just as simple as y'all got behind, so you needed to air the ball out more, or what do you think led to not being able to replicate that success on the ground against Iowa State?
Well, I think we just had real issues with executing. The boxes were favorable. We were looking at a 5-man box, and it just stunk because really it was on our tackles to try to make or break the play, and they had a hell of a time trying to keep a 5 technique that was tight on them from spiking inside and just dumping it to support players. And even whenever we managed to get it inside, I can speak from my own experience that I was having issues with staying on the linebackers for as long as I should have. So it was really just a lack of execution all around, and you can fault whoever you want to or whatever you want to for a lack of a run game, but it really comes down to whether the O-line is going to dominate their opponent. And had we dominated, then we would have ran the ball and probably jump-started our offense a little bit better.
And then final one for me, at least for now. What do you see from this West Virginia defense, specifically the D-line?
They do a hell of a job with just playing their butt off and taking risks when they see an open gap, and a lot of the times they make O-linemen wrong just by playing with huge effort and initiative, and they take that initiative and they play through the O-line and try to attack any corner they see and get to the quarterback. And so far they've done a great job of that, and last year I feel like they did a good job of that too, but I feel like we're a very solid scheme-wise. We stick to our rules, and we have a lot of pride in being able to go toe-to-toe with anybody, and these guys are no different. They can move all they want to. We're going to go forward.
Just a reminder, use your raise your hand or send me a text message if you would like to be in line. If that's it, we'll cut Weston, or never mind, Don Williams.
I was going to say I can ask another one if Don's not in there.
Go ahead, Eric. Go ahead, we'll go to Don after that.
Okay, Weston, we ask this question a lot, and I'm curious, Allen, when you have a guy in Henry who's maybe a little more mobile and can make plays when maybe there's no one to pass to, in the offensive line's perspective, do you have to think about that? Or, okay, now you have to break this out, so maybe I need to be cognizant of that, or do you just have your blocks when he drops back and you kind of just have to stick to that regardless?
Well, we've always been coached to be sticky on a block just because you never know what's going to happen. You never know where the quarterback's going to be, even if, you can say you blocked for that spot all day and you gave up a sack. It wasn't your fault because the quarterback wasn't where you're supposed to be. Well, your guy got to the play. So, as far as it comes to creating run lanes, all you can really the thing that I've seen in the past that really is successful with that is just taking shots on guys whenever you can and winding it out, because when a guy's on his heels or he's going sideways, he's not rushing the quarterback, and then that gives lanes to develop for escape routes if they need to be.
Go ahead, Don.
Weston, considering West Virginia leads the Big 12 in sacks, leads the Big 12 in rush defense, leads the Big 12 in pass defense. Is this, fair, do you feel like it's fair to say, is this you guys' biggest challenge so far, so far in terms of an offensive line challenge, or still kind of too early in the season to say that?
Well, I mean, we got to give these guys credit. They have a heck of a D-line. They attack constantly. They never quit, and they're great with, like I said, taking that initiative that a lot of other D-linemen don't have the freedom to take as far as choosing gaps to go through if they see an empty one. And we have to be wary of the stats they put up so far, and we have to know that we're going into a game with real dudes. But then again, we're real dudes too, and so it's going to be a fight. But I think I have tremendous faith in this offensive line and their ability to handle anybody, and I think that it's going to be a dogfight. But I think we can come out on top.
Which one of the Steele brothers did you encounter most last season?
Definitely,
Expect you on Saturday.
there was a lot of Darius last year. I can't remember the other brother's name right now, but pardon? Dante. Yeah, Darius I encountered more just because he played a head up nose or shade, and played him a bunch last year and had plenty of opportunities to gauge him as an opponent, and he was probably one of the better D linemen I saw last year, and I honestly can't wait to go against him again. It's going to be a test of how much I've grown and how much he's grown, and it's going to be really fun. I played Dante too, and he's also a great D lineman, but I'll be looking forward more to going against Darius.
Go to Sean Dillon.
Have we seen the best of the offensive line yet, or is there something that you still have left in the tank?
Really, I mean, every single game we've had, there's been an area we struggled in, and the moment we have a perfect game, I still won't give us credit for being the best we've been or the best we can be, because if we have a perfect season, that's the best that we can be, where we have hundreds of rushing yards per game, no sacks given up on the year. That's what we expect of ourselves, and that's what we're capable of. I mean, both sacks that we've given up on the year shouldn't have been given up. They were a failure to either communicate or react properly, and we've been coached how to deal with it. And in our head, perfection is what we seek to accomplish. And so there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to play better and attack more. We just have to be able to make adjustments as the game goes on, communicate better, and the more we do that, the better we'll hit the other guy in the face.
And what have you done personally that you feel like you've improved on in these first couple games this year?
It's pretty minute. I guess you could say hand placement is a big thing for me. I've seen that I need to work on getting my hands inside the guy's chest and being able to drop my hips and roll through a guy on a one-on-one block. And some other areas that I struggled in were just staying sticky on a pass block or being able to sit down a big bull rush from the guys at Texas. Those guys were pretty big and had to deal with that. But as the year's gone on, I think I've shown improvements in hand placement, first of all, pad level, second of all, and footwork, tight footwork, I'd say.
I feel like, I take the reps I can get, and then after that, I mean, every day I'm just thinking about progressing myself and making sure we have a better secondary than we had the last game. So that's just what I'm planning on doing.
Do you mind saying, or feel like you can say what you were down with those first couple of games, and I guess maybe some time you might have missed in camp, injury or COVID related?
That is really a question for my head coach, Coach Wells.
Considering, you're a guy who started for 4 years now. When you miss time, is it relatively easy for you with your experience to jump back in and be in the groove, or are you like anybody else? It takes some time to get back to where you want to be.
I had to handle with adversity, but it's going to take time for anybody. I mean, nobody could just hop in and be just what they was just days ago or anything. So I mean, I just had to work and just work to be the best I can be.
Go to Carlos Silva.
Marcus, how difficult was it for you to be out during that time, and what were you able to do during that time to kind of keep your mind at least ready to be back on the field?
Studying, just film work, and just off the field, just handling what I need to do, and just knowing that I would be back.
At any point, did you feel like you weren't coming back? And I guess what was it like to finally get back and kind of be on the field with your teammates?
It felt great to be back with my teammates. I knew I was coming back, and it's just a matter of time, really.
Go to Eric Kelly.
Marcus, from last year to this year, the coaches have been really impressed with how the secondary has given up less deep balls and let less receivers get behind them. From your perspective, what's been the key to making that adjustment and improving in that area?
It's something that we say every day in the meeting room, and something that Coach Jones has applied to us. Just saying that, no ball is going to be over our head, and we play top down from everything. So we eliminate the explosive plays. It makes the game a little bit harder for the offense, and that's what we tend on doing. I just come to practice. I just make sure that we have a mature level about everything that we do around here, and we need to be able to handle things correctly in the right way, in the right manner. And that's what I'm here for. It's just to show the young guys how to do things, really. So that's exactly what we do.
Last one for me. When you look at the West Virginia offense, everyone's going to look at the running game. I guess what have you seen from their passing attack that's made them so good?
The running game is real good, and their passing game has developed really well. And they have some speed receivers, they have some big receivers, and I feel like they're really good.
Yeah, Tony and I have a really strong relationship. We've been through a lot over the past couple of years. I mean, just at Arizona alone, we had 5 different linebacker coaches. So we've been through a lot, of change, and I see our friendship going longer than football. So we have that kind of relationship with each other, and we talk consistently throughout each week, especially since we went our separate ways, always checking in on each other, see how we're doing, congratulating each other. And, yeah, we talked a little bit about the upcoming game and just how we're more than likely to see each other on special teams, whether it's head-to-head or not, depending on what the scheme is. So we talked about a possible matchup, and it's going to be fun.
From just a linebacker appreciating the way another linebacker plays, what makes him a really good linebacker?
If you look at every single play, you'll see that one's in the frame near the ball, whether he's making the tackle or if the man in front of him wasn't going to, he was going to. And that's the way that we played at Arizona too, where he was always in the picture and he's all over the field wreaking havoc, and he's a problem for offenses. And I'm really proud of the way he's been playing this year, and it's just really cool to see him step up and come in at such short notice too over there at West Virginia and have the impact that he's been doing.
And the last one, kind of more lighthearted. Have you been able to give the offense any tips on how to stop him? Do you know him that well in and out?
I really haven't been watching their defense just because we haven't been going against, but we played against Tech last year with Tony, so they're already familiar with him and the way he plays. So, but yeah, they talked a little bit about me and giving a little bit of pointers and stuff like that. But it's going to be a fun matchup, and he's familiar with Tech, so it's not going to be the first time him playing a Big 12 opponent too. So that's an edge for both teams.
Go to Don Williams.
So Colin, following up on that, pardon me, when did it first cross your mind that, I'm actually going to be playing against my old teammate this season?
As soon as I came to Tech, I knew he was on the schedule. So we've been talking about it for a while now, but now that it's here, we're like, oh man, the week's here. Like, we're really going to do this, and it's going to be weird to start, but like I said, it's going to be fun. It's just, I mean, like playing my brother a couple of times, that was weird to start. So playing somebody like Tony, who I'm close with, is going to be the same thing, and we've both been looking forward to it.
And they also have, they have Scotty Young off y'all's defense from last year too, right?
Correct.
Although I'm not sure if he's playing this year or not. He may be.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's able to play this year, but Scotty's another guy that I was close with. Coach Adai too, the DC. I was at Arizona with a year with him as well. So I know a lot of people over there, people I became fond with and played with and created strong relationships with. So it's going to be, like I said, a little weird, but it's going to be fun.
Of course, you made it clear that the primary reason for your leaving the U of A was you wanted to play football this year. And at the time, it looked like that was not going to happen there. And now, apparently, it is going to happen with the Pac-12 schools. What are your thoughts on the developments at U of A since you have left, and in the Pac-12 since you left?
Well, I mean, just like you said, at the time, it didn't look like they were going to play. And at the time that my family and I made the decision, the cards that were dealt, the right decision was for us that we felt was to go somewhere that's playing. At that point, there's really no purpose to look back and regret making decisions and saying, oh, what if this, because the decision was made. I wish nothing but the best of luck for Arizona. I've created a lot of strong relationships over the past couple years. But them starting in November, I think, is a good step for the Pac-12 and the Big 12 or the Big 10 too. But like I said, at the time when the decision was made, they weren't playing. So the decision was made, and I'm not looking back.
Go back to Eric Kelly.
Coming in kind of as late as you did, now you got, a couple weeks, more than a month under your belt here, a couple games. How much more comfortable do you feel now than maybe day one, and in what areas do you feel more comfortable?
Just more comfortable with, I would say, just the personnel here. Coming into a program as late as I did, there's over 120-something players that it's easy for them to learn my name, but creating relationships with everybody on both sides of the ball and coaches, administration, academics, and all that, I would say that I've developed a good relationship in the small time I've already been here with them. With the scheme, it's almost a little easier during the season because we have game plans for certain teams. So when you look at what the game plan is, it could be 10 plays from last week, it could be the same ones, or they could be new ones. So, and like I said, I think I pick up football pretty well, so I feel pretty comfortable already.
What do you see from this West Virginia offense, a team that can run the ball much better than last year?
Yeah, I watched film from them last year, and I don't think they're the same team that they were last year. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come down here. I know that they want revenge from the game last year. So, like you said, they run the ball pretty well. They got some threats outside and an offensive line that works together as a unit. So it's going to be a fun challenge, and I'm looking forward to seeing them this year.
Go back to Don, the wrap-up.
Colin, going back to your transfer for just a moment, and with the U of A planning to play now, and with all of you high-impact guys who left the program, have you gotten any anger directed at you from U of A people, not necessarily former teammates or what have you, but just fans and whatnot on social media?
I wouldn't say as much hate, just as much as that I've been told that they're going to miss me and they wish that I was still there. But when the Pac-12 announced that they were returning, there was a spike in messages at me saying that we're playing, you made the wrong choice, come back, stuff like that. But I wouldn't say there's been a lot of hate. But, I mean, like I said, the time the decision was made, it was the right one for my family and I. So it's pointless to look back at it now.
Yeah. Coach Neil Brown said the other day, or today, that he said he observed that it seemed like, I guess, you and Tony are kind of playing, he said, opposite positions from what you played last year. Can you describe how your position here at Tech differs from what you played at U of A, and I know you've talked about this before, but just kind of refresh our memory on this one.
Yeah, well, the personnel here at Tech, they didn't really need a linebacker inside the box as much as a team like West Virginia did. So Tony and I both made our switches and both came into opportunities to contribute to something that we're not normally used to. So when I came here, they really didn't need an inside backer, even though I do play in the box a little bit. I'm primarily outside. Up at West Virginia, they needed somebody in the middle to hold it down. So I feel like that helps us just to show that we're more versatile than people think, and that we can play both outside and inside the box.
Yeah. So Tony played mainly outside in Tucson?
I would say he was probably 60-40, 60 inside, 40 outside, but he was outside on the majority of our plays, but there were a lot of times where we were both inside. So, but now he's running the show up there, and he's majority inside. So that's why it's a little bit different. It's not a complete different change, like we're playing safety or we're coming as a stand-up end. We're still backers and we're still majority run stoppers, but it's just a different way to show the opportunity for us to play inside and outside.